Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. PRS had their big announcement party tonight from 7 to 10 p.m. So for tonight's episode, let's go ahead and check out what I thought was awesome and a few other topics. So first off here, the thing that I was actually watching this whole launch party for is I wanted to know if they were going to bring out a new color for the Silver Sky, or maybe give us another fretboard option, because so far we've got Rosewood, and then last year they brought in Maple. I was thinking, okay, are we going to get like Ebony thrown in here? Because that would be a lot of fun. Or maybe are we finally going to see the SE version of the Silver Sky? Unfortunately, despite all the comments in that whole entire thread for 3 hours saying, give us the SE, yeah, that didn't happen this time either. But we did get one new limited edition color. And here it is. They're calling it the Lunar Ice. And I've got to say, kind of let down. It really just looks like a copy of the Nebula, except for they've kind of changed it up a little bit. Just in case you missed it from last year, Nebula was that new finish that they did, and it's a flip-flop thing. I actually reviewed one of these, and man, that's got a lot of views. But it turns from this purple to a blue to a slightly reddish hue. It had so many different colors, and I thought it was great that PRS brought this flip-flop finish back. But to see it on a Silver Sky, it made me try it. And my title for that video is PRS Ruined the Stratocaster. And I meant that in a good way. Because I used to just think, okay, yeah, they're just ripping off the Stratocaster. But no, they've taken it and they kind of changed a whole bunch of stuff up about it. I would highly suggest trying one of those out if you're into S-type instruments. But anyways, back to our finish. So we've got this whole flip-flop thing. But this time it sticks with that kind of like purple and blue hue, but then it also turns white. So the old Nebula is like, you know, you're going into outer space, it gets really dark. This one, Lunar Ice, you know, they kind of stuck with the space theme, but this time they got cold and bright. I was kind of hoping we would see like a green to black or something else, but this does prove to us that they are going to, you know, continue to make these limited edition finishes. The next thing you're going to notice that's different here, which I think was a fantastic idea on Mayer's part, is you can only get this in the Maple fretboard option. And I'm happy about that because I haven't tried one of those yet. So for our PRS review this year, we're definitely going to check one of these things out because, yes, we know what to expect now, but I finally get to experience what it feels like to play the PRS Maple fretboard version. I mean, I remember really liking this guitar. The knobs, they have that low friction pot thing. I wasn't a huge fan of that and the way that it felt, but everything else, I really enjoyed the Silver Sky. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I'm sure you all are wondering, what's the price? As of right now, they haven't updated their website. They didn't really talk pricing in their party. But they have told us that they're making 1,000 units this time. That's double what they made last time of 500. And if you didn't know, you know, the scalpers market got pretty extreme on these things, you know, selling anywhere between like 4 to 8,000. I haven't looked at this in a while. Looks like some guy wants 10 grand. Other ones are 7 yet, 6, 5. I think I sold mine around 5,000, and that's just become the market. It's a limited edition finish, 1,000% never in production ever again. Here's the most recent sales at about $5,000. So I think it's great that they've doubled that production. Paul won't get, you know, beat up over that anymore. And I think that will help the scalpers situation. I mean, Nebula is always going to be the number one. It was a good investment if you could get it brand new. But since this one isn't quite as limited, I'm still expecting them to sell out pretty quickly. So if you want one, get your order in as soon as possible. But I really don't see the crazy double value instantly this time. I still think they'll be worth more than brand new, but it'll take some more time to get to that point. So if you missed out on the Nebula, I think this is a great chance for you to get one at seemingly a sane price. Again, we don't know pricing at this point. If I was Paul and I see people paying $5,000 for these limited edition ones, you know, quite religiously, I would jack the price up just a little bit. But at the same time, I could see them getting hate for that. So it looks like brand new ones are $23.99. I think last year, wasn't the retail price on the Silver Sky, I think it was like $2,700. It was only like a $300 or $400 premium. I could be remembering that incorrectly though. So I thought that was pretty cool, but that is not what stole the show for me. PRS is really getting into this bolt-on neck S-type guitar market. They've partnered with Mark here for the Fiore signature guitar. And now we have an HSS Stratocaster within the PRS lineup. I think this is going to set some people off again. I'm kind of looking forward to this. A little bit skeptical on what the price might be. I was kind of hoping that these things would be cheaper. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, maybe this is like the SE lineup. It's not going to be exactly that. But no, this is another signature guitar. So maybe next year we'll see them like bring up just a generic S-type guitar that they can do from the SE lineup and leave the signature guitars to the USA-made stuff. But it looks like we get a 2-point synchronized tremolo system, 3-knob layout. You're going to notice you're missing your pickguard here, so it still looks slightly PRS. And I know this is spec'd out to this particular artist, but I think it kind of would have been cool if they would have like changed the contours of the body a little bit. I mean, I know we've got the PRS swoop thing right here. It just kind of looks a little bit naked without the pickguard, in my opinion. The white one, it honestly does not look that attractive in stock photos, but if you check it out in the PRS official video, it does look pretty nice. I thought at first that it had like a white phenolic fretboard on it too. That would have been awesome. Maybe we could see that in a future release. But the red one looks pretty sweet, especially with the wood grain you've got going on. A covered humbucker's an interesting choice here. And your next one is kind of like, looks kind of like black cherry. I don't think they had this one during the launch event, because I only remember seeing the red and the white one within their studio. I've got to say, I think this one looks good. I do want to review this guitar. It's interesting enough. I believe this is going to be the #1 talked about PRS that's released in 2021 so far. Because they only did 10 models today, they're going to tell you some more stuff later. But they came up with the name Fiore because it's Italian for the word flower. And during the interview with Mark here, he said his daughter actually ended up naming this. And somewhere in this article, it says like his mother did the Fiore design. And according to this Guitar World article, we've got a couple of months yet. May 2021. That's going to be tough picking a color, though. I think naturally I kind of gravitate towards this one. So yeah, PRS did some new Stratocasters. But again, if you haven't tried one of these things, they're different enough to get excited about them. I mean, Fender makes great products, so does PRS. They can coexist and still be different enough. But unfortunately, if you don't like maple fretboards this year, kind of left out. If you ask me, the Fiore, and especially the Silver Sky, is just begging to have a matching headstock cap. But some other key things to note, they introduced this new studio series, there's also a special, and they brought back what they're calling the narrow field pickups. I don't know anything about those, but apparently they're very desirable on the used market, so they decided to bring them back to their guitars. Paul was comparing them to like a really clear, crisp sounding P90, but without the hum, because it's technically a humbucker pickup. The next thing I kind of skimmed over here, the SE Custom 24s, they changed up the top carve on them and they're just, trying to make them generally better guitars. They were saying that the top carve changed to what they had on Paul's guitar in previous years. They had a new PRS Custom 2408. Looks like a new SE Kingfisher bass. Oh, is that neck through? I'll be honest with you guys, I was editing a video while going through this. I didn't see this at first. That is pretty nice looking for a bass. I mean, it's a very standard shape, but, I think the PRS headstock works for bass guitars. Kind of reminds me of like the Rickenbacker. That's really cool. I'm sorry that I missed that during the release. I like the full fret access and everything. That reminds me of a lot of different brands. And I like the bird inlays on this bass. That's pretty cool. I think we've talked about PRS enough for this video. I've got other topics, so you can check out their YouTube channel. You can watch the whole live feed. It was like 3 hours. There were a bunch of special guests, including Tyler Larson from Music Is Win, a great segment with John Mayer, and just a whole bunch of people. So hopefully I can check out a couple of new PRS guitars this year. In other news, Martin teams up with David Gilmour for signature D35 and 12-string acoustics. I wanted to talk about this because, he recently just sold off all his really special guitars. So I was really glad to see them recreate other guitars, so he can recoup some of that money because that was all donated. And then hopefully he'll get some new guitars out of this so, he can keep playing them. But it looks like we've got a 6-string version as well as a new 12-string. So if you're into Pink Floyd and acoustic stuff, that might be up your alley. And then I kind of skimmed over ESP in last night's episode because I didn't see anything on that page that interested me. But somebody left a comment that said, hey, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Kirk Hammet's new 30th anniversary signature KH3 Spider. So naturally, I look it up and I see exactly what they're talking about. This is like a 59 or early 60s Les Paul Melody Maker. So we got the dinky little headstock up here, which is Melody Maker in style. You get the slightly sharper cutaway down here, but single cut Les Paul in style. You get the output jack on the side this time. It's thicker than a Melody Maker. You've got what I would say is kind of a crammed layout. I would rather have that stuff down there, but I get why it's here. It's for volume swells and all that other good stuff. And some sort of a Floyd Rose. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the graphic, but you know, maybe if I actually understood this guitar and like when Kirt used it, I would. I know he's into that whole monster movie thing. He's got some other guitars like that. And I've always thought his Ouija board guitar was pretty cool. But it looks like the inlays are spiders too, and they just get smaller and smaller until they turn into crossbones. Okay, that's cool. 24 frets. I think the signatures on the pickups are a little bit much, but that's just my own personal tastes. But oh wow, it looks like it's even gonna have scalloped frets from 17 to 24. Neck through body construction. Are they sure about that? Because sometimes people confuse neck through with set neck. Okay, yeah, that's looking like you at least have a super access heel and a volute. I like the little coffin that they've got going on back here. Yeah, that's a pretty cool ESP in my opinion. So it looks like we've got an LTD version for $1,300. It seems to be pretty similarly spec'd. And the real deal Mama Jamma, a little under $5,000. So hey, if anybody's interested in buying one of these things through my new Guitar Day program, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do one of these things. Same thing with the Kerry King earwig guitar. If somebody wants to sponsor that review through New Guitar Day, go ahead. Go ahead, make my day. I'll make the video. I think that's enough content for today. There's some pretty interesting guitars coming out so far in 2021. So far, not anything that's like truly groundbreaking, but we still haven't heard Gibson's announcements or if they're even gonna do anything new. Since they're not on that whole model year system anymore, we might not see too much. And not everything from Epiphone has came out. But if anything else new has come out recently that I haven't really talked about that is super cool, feel free to let me know in the comments section. Alright, Troglodytes, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.